Well, my last video on this topic did well enough, so why not continue it? Bungou Stray Dogs Season 3 aired last spring, and it just reminded me why I love this anime so much. Great action, great animation, and great characters. And just like in the other two seasons, it introduced new characters that were based off of real-life offers. So I thought I would do the same as last time and talk about these new characters and how they relate to their real-world author counterparts. So this is my video on Bungou Stray Dogs and their author counterparts, Season 3 update. To start off with, most of the new characters introduced were part of the new evil organization that appears in the city for the Armed Detective Agency, Poor Mafia, and even the Guild to fight. And that is the Russian organization of the Rats in the House of the Dead. Their leader is Fyodor Dvorsky.
He's a cold and calculating man who shows almost no emotion in what he does. He is also able to predict events and plan far ahead on the same level as Rampo and Dazai. His ability is Crime and Punishment, whose power has not been shown yet, but it seems like it can kill anyone with a single touch.
The real-world Fyodor was a Russian novelist, short story writer, journalist, and a philosopher. His literary works explore human psychology in the troubled political, social, and spiritual atmosphere of 19th century Russia, and he would engage with a variety of philosophical and religious themes. Fyodor was even arrested in 1849 for belonging to a literary group that discussed banned books critical of the Russian Empire. His most famous work is Crime and Punishment, which is what the ability anime is named after. The name of the organization that he leads is a reference to the actual Fyodor work, The House of the Dead.
Now, since Fyodor in the anime is still such a mysterious figure that we don't know too much about, it's hard to connect the character to the real-life author as of right now. We'll have to wait and see if Bungou Stray Dogs gets a 4th season and if he'll tell us more about Fyodor.
Next up is Ivan Kogavon.
He is Fyodor's right-hand man and loyal assistant. Ivan is a crazed individual who will stop at nothing to help Fyodor to achieve his goal. His ability is the Precipice, which allows him to manipulate conglomerate rocks.
The real-world Ivan was a Russian novelist best known for novels like The Precipice, obviously what the ability in the anime is named after. He also served in many official capacities, including the position of censor. The real-world Fyodor actually considered Ivan an author of high stature.
The real-life author considered the book his greatest work, at which point he fully realized his greatest ambitions. Ivan in the anime views Fyodor's plan as a great work in need of fulfillment that he takes great pride in partaking in.
Next up is Alexander Pushkin.
An assassin for the Rats in the House of the Dead, his ability is a Feast in Time of the Plague, which allows him to plant a fatal virus in anyone whom he injures.
The real-world Alexander was a Russian poet, playwright, and novelist of the Romantic era, considered by many to be the greatest Russian poet and the founder of modern Russian literature.
Like most characters, one of Alexander's poems is a Feast in Time of Plague, which the ability in the anime is named after. In the poem, at a feast, a young man calls for everyone to remember and raise a toast to one of their friends who recently died from the plague.
Moving away from the Rats in the House of the Dead, we meet a new member of the Armed Detective Agency, Katai Tayama.
He is the information broker of the detective agency, a sheltered man who never leaves his room and is always surrounded by his faithful futon. Speaking of which, his ability is Futon, which lets him control all electronics in view so long as he's relaxed.
The real-world Katai was a Japanese author whose most famous works include Rural Teacher and Futon, which the ability in the anime is named after. He is noted for establishing the Japanese literary genre of naturalistic eye novels, which revolve around the detailed self-examination of an introspective author.
In the anime, the friendship that Katai has with Kunikita mirrors the real Katai's friendship with the real Kunikita after joining the literary world group.
Next up is Soseki Natsume,
a mysterious man who is the former mentor of Yukichi Fukuzawa and Ogi Mori. He can also be credited by helping Fukuzawa form the Armed Detective Agency. His ability is I am a cat, which lets him turn into, well, a cat, which lets him gather information with ease.
Most anime viewers will find the name Natsume similar, mostly because of the anime Natsume's Book of Friends, which features a talking cat. But the real-world Natsume is a Japanese novelist most known for his novels Kokoro, Bochin, I Am a Cat, and his unfinished work Light and Darkness. He was also a scholar of British literature and composer of haiku, kandash, and fairy tales. From the years 1984 to 2004, his portrait appeared on the front of the Japanese 1,000 yen note. In Japan, Natsume is often considered the greatest writer in modern Japanese history and has a profound effect on almost all important Japanese writers since.
Unfortunately, there's nothing really to connect the real-life offer of Natsume and the anime character because we don't know too much about him in the anime. He's almost always shown in the shadows, helping certain characters when he needed, only showing up in human form to stop Fukuzawa and Mori from fighting each other.
Now, just like with Season 2 of Bungou Stray Dogs, the first 3 episodes of the 3rd season were based off of one of the franchise's light novels, detailing how Dazai and Chuya first met, with Chuya eventually joining the Port Mafia. And the villain we meet in those 3 episodes is Arthur Rimbond.
He was an executive of the Port Mafia with an extreme aversion to coal and was later revealed to be an European spy, who in the past was betrayed by his partner, Paul Verlaine. His ability is Illuminations, which allows him to create a hyperspace under his control to the point where he can even control the rules of physics.
The real-world Arthur was a French poet known for his influence on modern literature and the arts, which prefigured surrealism. During his late adolescence and early adulthood, he began the bulk of his literary output and then completely stopped writing at the age of 21 after assembling one of his major works, Illuminations, which obviously the ability in the anime is named after. Arthur was known to have been a libertine and a restless soul, having engaged in an at times violent romantic relationship with fellow pilot Paul Verlaine.
Arthur and Paul in the anime seem to have had a close partnership, but Arthur was eventually portrayed by Paul. He is responsible for creating Chuya's strong gravity power. In real life, Arthur and Paul are said to be the real Chuya's inspiration in French literature. The hat Chuya wears in the anime after joining the Port Mafia is actually Paul's.
And that's it! All of the new major characters introduced in the 3rd season of Bungou Stray Dogs. It was fun to connect the characters and the authors again, and it's another reason why I would love a 4th season of the anime. Mostly because there are some pretty big surprises to come in the revelation of some of the characters. But if there is a 4th season, you can count on me being here to compare the new characters with their real-world Arthur counterparts.